You ever feel like no matter what you do, it's never enough for her? You text her first, you plan the dates, you show her how much you care, but lately she's cold, distant. And you're sitting there asking yourself, what did I do wrong? Maybe this feels familiar. She used to smile when she saw your name pop up. Now she takes hours, sometimes days, to reply. You tell yourself she's busy, you make excuses for her, but deep down you can feel it, she's pulling away. If this is you, you've probably been replaying every conversation in your head, wondering if you said something wrong, if you should have been more patient, more understanding, more available. But here's the truth you don't want to face. She's not confused. She's testing you. She wants to know if you'll keep chasing her when she stops giving back, if you'll fight for her attention, even when she's no longer earning yours. And every time you cave, every time you double text, overthink, or try to fix things, you fail that test. You see, she's not testing your love. She's testing your strength, your self-respect. And the way you respond right now will determine everything that happens next. So let me ask you, when she tests you again, when she goes cold, distant, or tries to pull you off balance, will you react the same way you always do? Or will you finally show her the one thing she didn't expect? Listen, when a woman tests you, she's not trying to destroy you, she's trying to see what kind of man you really are when things stop going your way. Most men panic when that happens. They start chasing harder, explaining themselves, overthinking every silence. They mistake her distance for rejection, and that's exactly where everything starts to fall apart. Because here's the truth. She's not testing your love. She's testing your center. She wants to know if your emotions control you or if you control them. When she pulls back, she's asking, are you grounded or are you just pretending to be confident until I push the right button? And most guys fail that test. They try to fix her mood. They start apologizing for things they didn't even do. They start negotiating for love, and in that moment, they lose all masculine authority. See, real strength isn't about reacting faster. It's about staying calm when everything in you wants to react. A man rooted in his purpose doesn't chase validation. He doesn't need to prove his worth to anyone because he already knows who he is. That's the core masculine principle most men miss. Control of self is control of the relationship. It's not about being cold or distant. It's about being steady. It's about showing through your silence and composure that your emotions belong to you, not to her behavior. The moment you stop trying to win her approval and start standing in your truth, everything changes. She'll feel it. Her energy will shift, not because you forced it, but because you reminded her what real strength looks like. So the next time she tests you, don't flinch, don't chase. Just breathe, stand tall, and let your actions say, I'm not here to prove myself. I'm here to be myself. That's when she finally realizes you're not like the rest. It's late. Your phone lights up again, but not with her name. You stare at the screen anyway, waiting, pretending you're not. The last time she texted, it was short, cold. A single word that said everything you didn't want to hear, Kay. You told yourself she's busy, that maybe she's tired. But deep down, you know what this is. You feel that tightness in your chest, that silent panic that whispers, she's slipping away. You replay the last conversation in your head. You tried to keep it cool, but there was that moment. She said something that stung, and instead of staying calm, you tried to win her back with words. You wanted her to feel your sincerity. You wanted her to see that you care. But what she saw instead was you chasing her approval. Now you sit there scrolling up through old messages, those late night talks where she laughed, flirted, leaned in, back when her words felt warm, back when she made you feel like you mattered. And somewhere between those memories, a thought hits you. You've been trying to earn something that used to come naturally. The air feels heavier now. The room's quiet except for the hum of your phone, mocking you with its silence. You think about texting again just to check in, just to see if she's okay, but you know what that really is? It's fear wearing a mask. You're afraid that if you stop reaching out, she'll forget you, that she'll move on and find someone else. But here's the truth you don't want to face. She already knows how much you care. She's not testing your love. She's testing your strength. When she pulls away, she's not asking for more effort. She's asking a silent question. Are you the kind of man who loses himself when things get uncertain? You exhale and look at your reflection in the black glass of your phone. For the first time, you see the exhaustion in your own eyes, the way you've been bending, explaining, proving, all for someone who stopped showing up with the same energy. And in that silence, something shifts. You put the phone face down. You let the quiet sit heavy in the room. You breathe. For once, you don't chase. You don't explain. You just sit with the discomfort, and it feels like power, because that's the moment. you realize the test was never about her. It was about you, about whether you could stay grounded when everything in you wanted to reach out and fix it. So you let the silence speak for you, not out of anger, not out of pride, but out of respect. Respect for yourself, respect for your peace, and maybe, just maybe she'll feel the difference. Not because you said something clever, but because you finally stopped failing the test. You've probably been told that when a woman pulls away, it means you need to try harder. Show her you care. Prove your loyalty, text more, plan something nice, make her see what she's losing. But that's the first lie. That effort equals attraction. It doesn't. See, most men believe if they just keep showing up with kindness, with attention, with consistency, she'll come around. But that's not how attraction works. Women don't fall for effort. They fall for energy. And when your energy shifts from confidence to convincing, she feels it instantly. You start chasing, explaining, over-communicating. That's when you start losing the very thing that drew her in the first place, your calm, grounded presence. Here's the emotionally intelligent truth. When she tests you, she's not asking you to prove yourself. She's asking to feel your strength. She's checking if the man she was drawn to is still standing in his own frame or if he's already fallen into hers. She didn't ghost you. You disappeared from yourself. That's what happens to so many men. They meet a woman they really like, and suddenly they forget everything that made them magnetic. They stop focusing on their purpose. They stop leading their own life. They trade their peace for her approval, and deep down she senses it. Not because she's cruel, but because it's human nature. When someone gives up their center to please you, you stop respecting them, and she feels that shift before you do. Now here's the second lie, that staying calm means staying cold. It doesn't. Being grounded doesn't mean being emotionless. It means being anchored. It's knowing how to feel deeply without reacting desperately. It's speaking with clarity, not begging for understanding. A man who can love fully and walk away peacefully, that's rare. That's power. She's not testing your love. She's testing your foundation. When she pulls back, she's watching how you handle uncertainty. Do you lose yourself trying to win her back? Or do you stay steady, focused, present, trusting that what's meant for you won't need to be chased? This is what most men get wrong. They think emotional control is about hiding their feelings. It's not. It's about owning them without letting them own you. So when she tests you, when she gets distant, short, moody, you don't respond with panic. You don't try to talk her back into liking you. You just keep being the man you were before the test began. You lead your own life. You let your silence say, I'm still here, but I don't chase confusion, because that's when she finally feels what she was looking for all along. Your strength. Not in words, but in energy. So remember this, she's not testing to punish you. She's testing to feel safe with you. And the moment you stop trying to earn love and start embodying it, you'll stop failing the test. Most men panic when they feel a woman pulling away. They go straight into survival mode, texting more, explaining more, trying to fix something that was never broken. They think love means convincing her to stay. But the 3% man, he understands something most men never learn. That connection can't be forced and respect can't be negotiated. This is what he understands. A woman doesn't test him to hurt him. She tests him, to feel his strength, his steadiness, his sense of self when the emotional current shifts. He knows attraction isn't built through words or effort. It's built through energy. And when he feels her distance, he doesn't chase it. He breathes through it, because he understands that distance isn't rejection. It's space. Space for her to feel his absence. Space for him to stay grounded in who he is. Most men lose their center the moment she withdraws. But the 3% man stays centered because his validation doesn't live in her attention. It lives in his purpose. It lives in his discipline. It lives in knowing that his worth doesn't rise and fall based on someone else's emotions. This is how he leads with presence, not pressure. He doesn't rush to fix the silence. He lets it breathe. He allows her to come to her own conclusions, because he knows that's the only way they'll mean something. He's not interested in convincing her he's valuable. He's interested in being valuable through his actions, his peace, his consistency. Where most men feel fear, he feels clarity. He understands that real strength isn't about control. It's about trust. Trusting himself enough to let the situation unfold without losing his balance. Trusting that the right woman doesn't need to be chased, only inspired. And trusting that walking away from disrespect isn't weakness. It's self-respect in motion. He doesn't interpret her test as a personal attack. He sees it as feedback. Feedback on whether he's showing up from strength or from scarcity. If he feels triggered, he looks inward, not outward. He asks himself, what in me still feels the need to prove something? Because he knows that self-awareness is power. It's not emotional detachment. It's emotional mastery. The 3% man leads through grounded calm. He listens more than he reacts. He observes more than he explains. He knows that silence used with confidence communicates more than 1,000 words ever could, because silence, from a man who knows himself, is presence. And this is the biggest shift. He doesn't chase the woman. He attracts her back through alignment. He doesn't say, I'll change so you'll stay. He says, I'll stay true even if you go. That energy, that quiet certainty is what every woman feels but few can describe. When you start embodying that energy, the tests stop feeling like battles. They start feeling like opportunities, chances to deepen your sense of self, to prove to yourself that your peace is non-negotiable. Because that's what the 3% man understands. You don't pass her test by saying the right thing. You pass it by being the right man. Calm, grounded, self-led. The kind of man who doesn't need to win her approval because he already stands approved by his own actions. And when you reach that place, something powerful happens. She stops testing you because she finally feels safe enough to trust that you won't fail yourself. It's strange how quiet it gets right before something inside you changes. Not the kind of quiet that comes from peace, but the kind that comes when you finally stop arguing with what's true. You're sitting there again, staring at your phone, waiting for her reply. You tell yourself you're just checking, but deep down you know. You're waiting for validation, waiting for someone else to decide if you're enough, and then something in you cracks open. Not loud, not dramatic. Just a quiet realization that lands like a weight dropping to the floor. You suddenly see it. You've been giving her all the power to define your value. Every unanswered text, every cold response, you took it as proof that you were losing something. But you weren't losing her, you were losing you. It hits you how long you've been trying to earn love that once flowed naturally. How many times you tried to fix what wasn't yours to fix. How often you silenced your own voice just to keep her close. And for what? So you could feel chosen? So you could feel safe? The truth slides in like a blade. You've been waiting for someone else to give you permission to feel worthy. And the worst part is, she never asked you to do that. You handed it over. Piece by piece. Every time you apologized for things you didn't do. Every time you tried to explain yourself to someone who'd already stopped listening. And now, in this stillness, something shifts. You stop asking, what should I say? And start asking, why do I need to say anything at all? The silence no longer feels like punishment. It feels like space. Space to breathe. Space to return. You realize that love isn't supposed to feel like begging for peace. It's not supposed to make you smaller just to keep the connection alive. You can almost feel your heartbeat syncing with the truth, that you don't have to chase what aligns with you, that the right person doesn't need to be convinced. They just need to meet you where you stand. You look around your room, same walls, same light, but somehow everything feels different, lighter, still, because for the first time, you're not reaching outward, you're remembering inward. You remember who you were before the waiting, before the doubt, before you started mistaking attention for affection. You remember the strength in your own silence, the calm that comes when you stop performing and start being. There's power in that, the kind of power that doesn't need to shout or prove. It just is. You realize she was never testing your love. She was revealing your relationship with yourself. And maybe, just maybe, that's what you were meant to see all along. So you take a breath, deep, unrushed. You put the phone down, not out of anger, but out of clarity. Because you finally understand you were never waiting for her to text back. You were waiting to come home to yourself. And maybe this is what it all comes down to. Not winning her back, not proving your worth, but remembering that the moment you stop chasing her approval and start standing in your own truth is the moment you become the man she was hoping you already were.